In this episode of The Excursion, I'll be crabbing, bowling through history, and exploring the wonders of Sapelo Island in McIntosh County, Georgia. And if I succeed, it's an award-winning breakfast here at the Open Gates Bed and Breakfast located in the heart of Darien, Georgia. But if I fail, it's the crew that gets this sunrise spectacular. Let's get started. It's a destination the birds know quite well. But McIntosh County, Georgia is an undiscovered gem to many people outside of coastal Georgia. The county seat of McIntosh is the state of Georgia's second oldest city, known as Darien. And like nearby Savannah, just a couple of counties north, Darien was designed with a purpose in beautiful fashion. Home base for our excursion is a historic B&B known as Open Gates, located in a live oak-filled horticultural masterpiece called Vernon Square. Open Gates lives up to its name with genuine southern hospitality, and they properly set us up with a perfect mix of great food and relaxing quarters for our ensuing exploration and eventual excursion reward. In a past excursion, we explored the pre-revolutionary British outpost here in McIntosh County known as Fort King George, and there we were blown away by what we discovered. And this entire county and its stunning barrier islands are a treasure trove of history, natural beauty, and adventure. Buddy Sullivan is a coastal Georgia historian and takes us back to the region's colonial beginnings.
Darien was originally called New Inverness when it was settled by Highlander Scots in 1736, because the Scots came from the town of Inverness in the Highlands of Scotland. They were recruited by James Edward Oglethorpe, the founder of Georgia, and originally had their town at where Fort King George is located, a mile east of the present town of Darien. And then the town was moved to its present site about a year later because it was higher ground and more defensible. Oglethorpe recruited the Highlanders purely because of their military capability. They were very fierce fighters, which is why Oglethorpe recruited them to come to Georgia to help defend the colony against Spain, which was at odds with England at the time. And so in exchange for promises of land and infrastructure and whatnot, gave them their own land, their own town, and they proved their value because of the military activities that followed. The Highland Scots were very valuable in defending the colony and eventually winning the War of Jenkins' Ear against the Spanish. So Darien was renamed Darien in 1737, and it was named after the Isthmus of Darien, where a group of Scottish Highlanders had attempted a colony some 30 years earlier.
So before we delve any further into the past, we journey into the marshes of McIntosh with the local of present-day Darien for Excursion Challenge number 1. Meet the talented and lifelong local crabber, Brian Vickers. You are a crabber here in McIntosh County. Is that the right term for it?
Yeah, that's it, a crabber.
Tell me about your morning.
Hey, every morning we start out anywhere from 6 to 7 o'clock, get our bait, get everything loaded up, get everything going, and then we start the day, start pulling. Roughly about 5-6 hours a day pulling traps.
And we're going for the sweet blue crab, right?
Blue crab, that's right.
What are you going to have me doing here today?
You won't get your hands in the tank?
I got to get my hands in there. Yeah, the crew's going to mess with me here.
Okay, I got you. I wish I'd brought another pair of gloves for you.
Okay.
I'll let you try it barehanded.
Yeah. We'll see what happens here.
All right.
Seeing these winding rivers and pristine, uncrowded marshes at sunrise is a wondrous sight. It's like cutting through glass, and the color is constantly evolving. But I wasn't here to watch. I was here to work. And today was a prosperous day on the Altamaha River Delta for Brian and me. Hey, I'm happy.
It's constantly cleaning these things this time of year. The grass grows on them. And if you don't keep them clean, they get to the point they won't catch nothing.
A couple of big ones in there.
Oh, yeah, couple.
So they're angry, so I'm not going to stick my hand in right now.
One of these cans got to be at least 5 inches.
Right.
There's about 5.5. That's
okay.
Here's 5-inch mark.
Oh, got it. Okay. See how mine does here.
See if he makes.
So
you can handle that crab.
Okay. Yeah, this one, I'm not afraid of this guy. See? I'm going to let you work with those right now. All right, so we made them all. So he's trying to bite me. Look at that.
If you gonna grab him like that, just push down on his back and grab him by his back fin. Woo! I won't do it tight when you get over good.
Yeah, I see him reaching around.
See, I'm wearing thick gloves too.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, that makes a big difference too.
I don't need gloves.
I'm tough.
Yeah, I'm tough, but you see I'm not reaching my hand in there. I got this one and I'm happy how I am. Get right under it.
Yep, you're right up in front of the rope. Pull you right up to it. Yeah, I got it. Now throw the rope up in the puller.
All right. Push down hard, right?
Yep.
Oh, but he's hanging on to someone else. Oh, yeah. Let him go. He's not worth it.
He won't ever turn him loose because you holding him.
Yeah.
He won't turn that one loose.
Look at that. What do we got here?
Garfish.
It was a garfish.
Garfish, yep.
So he got his head in there.
Yeah.
And there he goes. So the gar got his head stuck in the trap. These crabs annihilated him. Man, I love the blue color on these claws. Yes! I was so sure I was gonna blow at him. All right, 2 for 2, yes sir.
Once you get there to grab one, just reach in and get hold of it.
I gotta commit, right? Well, yeah, they're fighting. Oh no. Yes! Oh, I flipped another one. All right, I know you got work to do here. That might be a challenge complete there. I don't know what that was, but sure was fun. That was crazy. You just hear the... We're catching crabs, and I think I'm going to be eating later.
That's right.
Thank you so much, Brian. Appreciate it.
I do too, bud. Thank you.
Yeah.
Have a good one.
Thanks. Nestled along the back rivers and marshes of Darien, Georgia, the McIntosh Rod and Gun Club. So armed with a bushel or two of Georgia blue crab and all 10 fingers intact, I'd say that's enough for a steaming mini reward. So off to meet Davis Poole of the McIntosh Rod and Gun Club at the Blue and Hull Marina, just a few bends up the winding rivers and marshes. Oh, now they're connected forever. Davis, thanks for letting me bring the crab here.
Glad you came here.
Yeah, you guys do this all the time here, right?
We do. We host a couple of events every year, fishing tournaments, and we have an annual oyster roast and a low country boil.
I've done it before, but I want to do it right the first time because people are watching.
All right.
All right, show me what to do here.
Basically, you can take the crab, break off both claws, take a device, open up the shell itself, peel it back. Basically, you're backing it. Break off all the legs, break off the swim bladders because they don't taste that good. And there's your back. You have two big chunks of meat inside there that you have to pick out, and you have two beautiful claws that you can break and eat right now.
That was awesome, and I'm not being timed on this, by the way. I was really good in school for the first 2 steps. They 1, 2, come back, get the tool.
Peel that open.
And peel that open.
Excellent. And there you have a body. And then you pick the meat out the individual body, and you pick the meat out of the individual claws. Chow time.
Oh yeah, that's where I start talking. Sweet, savory, buttery, all those things.
Good blue crab.
Thanks, Davis.
Our pleasure.
Filled up on crab and soaking in the present-day beauty of this region, it's time for Excursion History as we embark on a ferry ride to historic Sapelo Island.
The experience is unique. You see a place that is primarily geared towards sustaining long-term research in the estuaries, in the marshes, in the woodlands, in the upland forests. What normal tourists would expect for infrastructure, it really doesn't exist out here, so it feels like a little bit wilder of an experience. Now, that's part of why people come here.
Day access to the island is limited, available only by boat or aircraft on the island's old airport. This unique destination portrays nature in all its glory.
It just feels a little slower. It feels like it's not quite so impacted by the internet and Wi-Fi and all those modern conveniences. We have all that, but it doesn't feel quite as in your face as other places.
The beaches are amazingly uncrowded due to the limited access, and only one human community still resides on the island, and they have a rich and unique history. Populated primarily by descendant workers from the Spalding Plantation, this population of residents hovering around 70 people still run a couple of small stores on the island and welcome visitors who can learn more about their history and current lifestyle in this beautiful place.
The Gullah Geechee communities are dotted all along the South Carolina and Georgia coast, and they're here traditionally on the islands due to the area of West Africa because of their background in their skills. The Geechee were the people that were traditionally from Georgia. They've held their traditions because of their isolation. They can trace back the dialect that they speak to Africa. It's still almost mirror images. The real allure to Sapelo is that you do have to take a ferry to get to it. It is a limited access island, but inside of that limitation are these little jewels that have been preserved because of that limited access.
As you explore the majority of the island, you see that Mother Nature still has the reins of Sapelo. But as you journey to the south end, you'll also see the residents of Hog Hammock are not the only ones through the years to appreciate this island. Welcome to a place now known as the Reynolds Mansion on Sapelo Island.
Originally in 1802, Thomas Spalding purchased the island and built what you actually would see just the center part of the house right here. There was nothing else on each side. By the mid-1800s, it goes into ruins. Through 1898, Category 5 hurricane strikes the island, covered the island in 8 feet of water. 1911, Howard Coffin purchased the island and actually built what you see on the outside of the house today.
Okay.
1934, R.J. Reynolds purchased the island and then renovated the inside, and that's what we'll get to see today.
There was a wide range of artistic, architectural, and social lifestyles of these 3 historic American figures, and a tour of the Reynolds Mansion showcases a little bit of each. We are inside now, and once you step in, you're stepping into history.
Yeah, we're in the great room right now. It's the main part of the house that was originally constructed in 1809 with Thomas Spalding. It was renovated in 1911. It was brought back to life by Howard Coffin, and then what we see right now is done by Reynolds.
And Reynolds is in the portrait, right?
Yeah, Reynolds right behind us.
Being the last owner of the mansion until it was abandoned in 1964, R.J. Reynolds' stamp is most prominent in the inside. After the Depression, he was one of the few that didn't lose a lot like Coffin did.
At that point in time, tobacco was such a commodity back then. Everybody was doing it. They didn't know what it did to everybody at that point in time, even though eventually it would end up taking his life later on.
We get to see a lot of rooms here. They all have their own special charm. Let's talk about the is it solarium?
Yep, we have the solarium back here with the glass wall that goes out into the pool. The library was added on by Reynolds. It was all the wood that you see on the doorways and everything were all hand carved. All the books that we have in there right now, most of them are first editions. So.
And there you have their own stamp on.
Yeah, they have their stamp on them, either for possession of R.J. Reynolds or Howard Coffin. Then we have the circus room upstairs.
Okay, circus room, and there's another room I saw had some very interesting artwork.
Yep, so there's murals that Athos Menaboni painted on those. They all meant something to him. It was somebody in his life.
It's like a character.
Yeah, a character, yeah.
Of someone in their life. And there's one of himself up there.
Yep, he's the ringmaster.
All right. When we return, we continue our exploration of the newly restored Reynolds Mansion and take on a historic excursion challenge. Nestled along the back rivers and marshes of Darien, Georgia, the McIntosh Rod and Gun Club. From golden marshes and uncrowded shores to a sunrise crabbing adventure and a journey through a historic mansion on a very special barrier island, this excursion has been anything but ordinary. And it only gets better as we explore a few more unique features within the Reynolds Mansion, including one that inspires our next excursion challenge. So I'm guessing this is the kids' favorite area.
Yeah, and adults too.
And adults. Now I see this bowling alley. Tell me how old it is, and can people still use it?
Yeah, everybody can use it. Anybody that rents the house, you come down here and play bowling all night long if you wanted to. Matching set of 1892, pool table, ping pong table. We have a TV in the background. We have the bar right here.
This is cool. We are on a boat bar. This is kind of man caves before man caves were called man caves.
This particular area was modeled off of Reynolds' yacht.
Does it stop here?
No, actually it doesn't.
Okay.
Do you remember the Charles Lindbergh kidnapping?
Of course. I wasn't there.
Yeah. Anybody ever did try to come after Reynolds or his family or anything, they would actually come down here to the basement, and they had a secret door right here. They could go back and hide.
Secret door.
Yeah, so if you open this up right here, right there, you have a secret room where the kids could actually hide in.
Little chair. There's enough room. That is so cool. All right. We have to have challenges here in the excursion. How about a little bowling challenge? These balls look a little different, though.
Yeah. These are original bowling balls here to the house, but back in that era, they only actually had 2 holes compared to 3 that they have now.
All right. Well, you got a challenge for me? How many do I need to knock down here?
Let's see if you can go for a strike.
Well, that's a pretty steep challenge, but I'll see what I can do. Okay, this is a heavy ball, too. What, Craig? I can do this. I got this. Oh, it's looking good.
He's looking good.
Ah! Now, there was a strike in there, as you can see here. but I didn't knock them all down when it counted. That was a bonus challenge. I don't know if that really, I got a lot of pins. That's really good. Regardless, this was a real treat, making me realize why a few more distinguished guests than me have stayed here in the past.
We had Calvin Coolidge, stayed here with Howard Coughlin, Jimmy Carter when he was governor of Georgia, and then Herbert Hoover as well.
And Carter stayed here quite a bit. There's even a wing.
Yeah, kind of had a little wing back here and just made up for him.
And here's another mansion perk. Just like the past presidents, groups can actually stay here. And yes, even bowl here.
We have 13 bedrooms total in the house, 11 and a half baths. We can sleep up to 25 people in the house now with the accommodations that we have.
It's so neat for people to be able to just step into history here, explore these different rooms, and know that all these presidents were here, all these famous tycoons of their time.
Back in that time.
That's fascinating. When we return, it's a sunrise reward for someone back at the Open Gates B&B in Darien's historic Vernon Square. Nestled along the back rivers and marshes of Darien, Georgia, the McIntosh Rod and Gun Club. Crabbing with success, bowling through history, and exploring one of Georgia's most extraordinary barrier islands, this excursion has been unlike any other. But like all others, it ends with a reward for me or the crew. Time to meet award-winning chef and owner of the Open Gates B&B, Zach Rath. So much charm here. We're right in the heart of Vernon Square here in downtown Darien. Why this place?
I'm from a small hometown in Nebraska. When I found Darien and came to Darien, I just kind of felt like I came full circle back to that same feeling of a small town community where everybody pretty much cares about each other.
People walk around this square and we saw you out there greeting some folks. You call yourself what?
I'm the unofficial greeter of the square, for sure.
Fantastic.
I'll come out with my business card and some chocolate from the neighbors and a map of town if they don't know where they're going, and try to direct them where to go.
What kind of feel do you want people to have when they're staying here?
I want it to be a home away from home for travelers that are here. We have 5 rooms. People kind of base out of here, but I always like to feel that I'm giving them the option of coming home.
You're not only operating this B&B, you are an award-winning chef.
Our first year that we were here, bedandbreakfast.com put on a best breakfast competition, and we entered our sweet stuffed crepe cigars. and we were lucky enough to win Best Breakfast that year, 2014. And what I'm going to make for you today is the savory truffle steak and eggs with a shallot and tarragon béarnaise.
And I'm very hungry right now.
Good.
I just have one problem.
You lost.
I lost the reward. I had one chance to bowl a strike. I got 8 and almost picked up the spare. He probably wouldn't have given it to me if I'd picked up the spare, right? Yeah, see, that's what happened. That's my world I live in. But, you know, I got to help serve the crew now, and you got a few other guests here, too.
Absolutely.
Those guests don't even know what they're in for here.
And the final thing that we need to put on there is just a balsamic reduction 2 times around.
Oh yeah, you don't want me trying that.
You want to try one?
Wait, yeah, let me do Craig's.
Yeah, do Craig's.
There you go, perfect.
Oops, I went on it. Sorry about that, Craig.
Yeah, it's messed up now.
Gotcha.
So let's clean up the plates here a little bit.
Yeah.
So this is it. The savory truffle steak and eggs with shallot and tarragon béarnaise,
That is gorgeous.
roasted butternut squash, roasted tomato, goat cheese, and a little balsamic reduction.
I'm crying
Sorry, man.
for different reasons.
From exciting work at sunrise with a modern-day Darien crabber to bowling through the history of the incomparable Sapelo Island, and finally cooking and serving Craig and a few other local guests at the ever-hospitable Open Gates B&B.
Oh, beautiful. I like the extra balsamic reduction on there, David.
Yeah, that was on purpose.
This delightful McIntosh County Georgia excursion is history. See you next time.
Got anything left back here?
Oh, yeah.